What's up everyone? Eric FNP. Need myself a cold one. Oh, that tastes good. Tiger. Anyways, so what do we have today? Santa Cruz Chameleon. But what I did was to make it into more of like a gravel setup. So what did I do to this one? I didn't do very much basically. If you've seen my other video, I will recap it somewhere. And that video actually was a video of my Santa Cruz Chameleon. It's the very same one. The only difference was that that one was more of a long travel 650B setup. This one is basically a gravel setup. Gravel in what ways? So basically, I've put everything all into the gravel mode by using skinny tires with flat knobs and using narrower rims. I just happen to have these E13s laced with coke hubs, and these were going at 27 mm internal width. So that was actually good enough for me to use as a gravel bike setup. The tires that I've used are 42 mm wide from Continentals. These are not too bad. They're quite flush, they're quite comfortable. The other setup is basically the same. So still my old GX Eagle cassette, my 34 teeth race face chainring. You know, I just swapped in the XTR limited edition, so to speak, 25-year anniversary. I'm sorry, 25-year anniversary pedals, fitless. There's a gravel thing, I guess. Carbon seat post, Selle Italia saddle, carbon stem at 90 mm, and then the carbon handlebar as well. So what I did was to maintain everything else, which would be my trail MT2s, MT2s Maguras, and on top of that the regular GX Eagle shifter, Supercast, bottle holder. I'll show you what I have done with the brakes. However, the brakes are actually sintered pad, so they're metallic, and I went down from 180 to 160 for the rotor size, diameter. Now the problem with the diameter is that at 160 is pretty darn small. I was going down a slightly steep slope just now, reasonably fast, and I was a bit scared. It was a bit skittish, and it doesn't help that the saddle is actually quite high position this time round, so maybe that's why as well. But overall, if you ask me how do I like the gravel feeling, it was not too bad. It's actually fun. It's actually quite fun. I'll continue in a bit just to show you close up on what the bike is. So here we have it, guys, close up on how the Santa Cruz Chameleon gravel setup done by me. So again, as I mentioned just now, the rear is still the same based on your GX 12 speed, GX derailleur as well, 34 tooth race face with Nix SL. The Shimano SPD is 25-year anniversary limited edition, so to speak. Supercast. This frame is unfortunately size S. So the front is actually a carbon fork. Got this from AliExpress from China. This was going for 147 Singapore dollars. So as you can see, the front is laced with the TSR Plus, if I'm not mistaken. So these are alloys, but these are light. They are approximately 420 grams each. So they're not too bad. The only thing is that these are on 32 spokes. So if they are on 28, I'm assuming that the wheel set would be lighter. So these are on Hope Pros. And as you can see, the handlebar is actually quite wide. This is a 760. I may want to cut this down because it felt quite wide just now. It did give me stability, however, so that's quite a good thing. So these are all the AliExpress brands, and the reason why I did that is because if I were not to like it, I won't feel the pinch of selling these off later on. And there you go, 160mm rotors. Wow, these are small buggers, extremely small, scary even. These are the Maguras sport versions, so these are good enough for gravel. As you can see, this is actually a stuck-on, and one of the reasons why I did that is because I may or may not want to keep this bicycle format. So rather than spending money getting a new hosing and getting to change certain things and paying for labor, bleeding the brakes, I can't be bothered. That's why it's supposed to be coming off from here to somewhere here. There you go, it's actually a clean fork. So again, EC90, the Selle Italia, and this is how it goes. The DB is nuke proof, just to have the same blue with the Santa Cruz words. So again, sintered pads, I like those, help me stop, but not today. So these are the tires, Continentals, AT Ride, not too bad. I went a bit of gravel just now. And I had to set these tube. I can't go tubeless on these because I think the rims were a bit too wide for these tires. So I had to go tubes on them. Yeah. There you go. So a very quick run through, actually. Let me show you the other side. Yep. So the other side, as I showed you just now, this was where the hole used to be for the dropper. So this is how the whole bike looked like. It's a gravel bike setup. I like it. I've got a friend who was laughing at me, but hey, I think it's nice. So, what do I feel? I only rode about 40 click today, so it's not, overly a lot. But then again, I'm in Singapore, so landmass wise it's pretty small. How did I feel on this bike? It was actually quite okay. It wasn't as harsh as I was afraid it would be. Thinking that they are, skinnies and rigid and everything. What I did like about it was that it's fast, both on and off the gravel. On the road it was reasonably quick. I did like the fact that it was able to weave in and out of traffic reasonably easy. The only thing which I may not like was the fact that it's on skinnies, so there are certain potholes on the Singapore roads which were a bit drastic. So maybe now I can empathize with the roadies in Singapore for their unwillingness to stay on the left-hand most close to the pavement, because that's where all the potholes are. So they're on skinnies, right? So they're really, really small. So these are not too bad because my tires are 42mm wide. This bike is 9.9 something, so overall it's relatively light. It's I've only got like the crank, which is carbon, the handlebar, which is carbon, the seat post carbon, as well as the stem that's carbon, and the fork is carbon. Everything else is all aluminum. So if I were to go max everything all down to the lightest components that money can buy from AliExpress, I would think that it can go down to a sub 8 maybe. For an aluminum frame, that's quite respectable, I feel. I mean, it does what it needs to do. Yeah, I think it's It's fantastic. I like how I felt riding it just now. Maybe it is the first time that I've ridden on it, so I'm not too sure whether it's just biasness or I'm really liking it, because at the end of the day, it's a new bike feel to an extent, where there are certain components that are new. I have yet to ride it longer, so maybe further down the road I should be doing some sort of a long-term review of how a gravel bike feels, conversion from mountain bike to a gravel bike. It didn't cost me a lot, to be honest. From AliExpress, and I'm talking in Singapore dollars. The saddle is something which I had existing. The rigid fork, as I was saying just now, was $140. The stem was $30, or was it $20? The handlebar was about $30. The seat post was also $30. So everything was about $100 plus the fork is $140, $240, and then the wheels, the tires were cheap. I got them from Germany. These were only 25 euros each, so it was affordable. Everything else were everything which I already had, so it's not much of a addition of money, and that's why I didn't mind giving it a go to try to see if I like it. It could most probably be a bike for me to use as a long-term so-called training, or if I want to be alone when I ride. So gravel riding should be one of those disciplines which should help me get away from it all. And I think one of the other reasons is that gravel bike has its own culture, has its own dress code. So yeah, just one of those things which it's lifestyle kind of a thing. This is my first ride today, so I can't really say very much about it. I just know that it's reasonably okay. I did go from Bukit Timah Rail Mall all the way down to Keppel Road, the end of the rail corridor for now. And after which I went up to Mount Faber from the main entrance. I almost died over there. And after which I went down and I went across to Bukit Timah Grange Road, that is in close to Orchard. Then after which I went straight ahead and I cut across from the Stirling, the old King Albert Park, went up back to Bukit Timah. Then to Bukit Timah. I came from there, went up to Bukit Batok, blah blah blah. So I came back home. So that's about 44 kilometers. Not too bad. It took me about less than 2 hours. So yeah, as I said, in a nutshell, I kind of like it. I think it's nice, this feeling for gravel. I like it because at the end of the day, it's still a mountain bike. To me, I like the geometry. I don't think I'll be able to go into the drop bar feel. The attire is something which I'm waiting for. All I need to do is wait for my jersey. I've got the shoes. I'm already wearing SPDs. I've got the funky socks. This is just a t-shirt which I'm sponsored for. This is short story. My shorts will be short story as well. And yeah, I can wear full fingers. I think it's cool for gravel as well. It's just a jersey. I think I will need to go wear a jersey. I've already ordered that anyways. So yeah, so one of the reasons why I'm okay with gravel is because it is still mountain bike-ish. Alright, so tell me what you think of the Chameleon setup into a gravel bike. Drop some comments, like the video, share the video, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you soon. Again, for another bike review, product review, or anything at all. So don't forget, go out there and ride, stay safe for the time being, and no bike is a shit bike as long as it makes you smile. Take care now, Eric FMP out. Ew!